Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Raw in Wonderland. I'm so happy we're here together again. Today's episode is inspired by a powerful and mythological figure whose story carries deep psychological meaning, Chiron, the wounded healer. We are going to explore what this archetype really means, why it matters in our daily lives, and how our wounds might actually be the places where healing begins, not just for ourselves, but for others too. So grab your coffee, maybe a double espresso like mine, and let's begin. Let me tell you a story first. Chiron was a centaur, half human, half horse, born immortal yet rejected at birth by his own mother because of his appearance. He grew up alone, unloved, unwanted. But instead of letting this define him, he turned his pain into power. Over the years, Chiron developed his talents. He became a master of music, warfare, astrology, healing, and wisdom. He was deeply connected to nature, and through this, to a deeper sense of knowledge. The gods noticed him. They sent their children to Chiron to be taught by him. One of his most beloved students was Hercules. But one day, a poisoned arrow from Hercules accidentally struck Chiron. The wound wouldn't heal, and because Chiron was immortal, he could not die. He was destined to live with this unbearable pain forever. He searched for remedies. He discovered healing herbs, taught others, gave others relief, but could never heal himself. Eventually, he made a choice. He gave up his immortality in order to be free from suffering. The gods honored this sacrifice by placing him among the stars. That's how Chiron became a constellation. So, what does this ancient myth have to do with us? So much. We all carry wounds, emotional ones, spiritual ones, and often these wounds aren't caused by strangers or enemies. They are caused by the ones we love. Like Chiron's wound came from Hercules, his favorite student and friend. Sometimes people don't mean to hurt us, but it happens. And what's even harder is we don't expect pain from those we trust. And so we get caught off guard, unprotected, defenseless. This is where the wound begins, and if left unacknowledged, it stays for years, for lifetimes. Like Chiron, we may find that our own healing remains out of reach, even while we help others. But perhaps, just perhaps, the real healing begins when we acknowledge the wound, when we stop pretending it's not there, when we understand that healing isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. You don't have to be fully healed to help others. In fact, many great therapists, coaches, and healers are people who have walked through the fire themselves. They didn't read it from a book, they lived it. Their experience makes them trustworthy, grounded, and compassionate. And this doesn't apply only to therapy. Just think of a dietitian who has struggled with body image, or a teacher who once failed in school, or a friend who has been through grief and shows up for you with deep empathy. Their pain doesn't disqualify them, it qualifies them. One of my favorite quotes from Rumi: "The wound is the place where the light enters you." This is also echoed in the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they are highlighted. The object becomes more beautiful, not despite its damage, but because of it. Chiron teaches us that we may not always find the cure for ourselves, but we can still turn our pain into gift for others. And ironically, in doing so, we often begin to feel a deeper sense of meaning. Maybe the reason I share these stories, maybe the reason I created this podcast is because deep down I am talking to myself too. I receive so many letters, so many emails from you, sharing how a specific episode helped you find a little courage, a little clarity. And sometimes I answer with, I'm not a therapist, please keep seeking professional support. But I've come to realize healing doesn't always come from experts. Sometimes it comes from connection, from resonance, from being seen. You don't need a license to be a wounded healer. You just need to be willing to look at your own pain, sit with it, and still reach out with love. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and let your cracks be golden. Bye, guys!